Okay, hello and welcome to episode 3 of The Locker Room, our new channel from Legacy. Today we are sitting down with Guildford Flames Josh Waller, GB Under-20 bronze medalist, GB Under-20 most goals, and 2019's most assists by a British Under-23. And I think most points by an Under-23 in the Elite League. I mean, wow, that's a lot already, Josh, for someone so young. But first of all, good morning. Thank you for joining us. I hope you and your family are well, and thank you for taking time out to come join us, being
of course.
the third guest on our new channel. Today, we're going to sit back. We're just going to have a chat about last season, the pandemic, the up-and-coming Elite League streaming series, and then we're going to finish off with some fan questions. So the first question we're going to start with is just, where are you right now, and what's getting you through this lockdown?
Well, I'm actually just living at home right now. I'm currently playing for the Bees in the NIHL Spring Cup. I was over in Sweden for a little bit, but because of obviously COVID and the situation out there, it got to a point where there weren't any games being played. It was strictly just practice, and by the time I came home, even the practice was there was no practicing at all. So I came back just sort of. Originally, I thought I'd come home and just strictly off ice and just try prepare for anything, as everything was sort of up in the air. But then I got a call about this Spring Cup, and I thought, obviously, why not, just to get on the ice, to be able to prepare for anything. If the Elite League was going to happen, wasn't sure, didn't know anything about the series or whatever. But I'm just currently at home, and
Nice. I mean, let's take it back to the 18-19 season. The Flames had collected a conference title. You'd advanced to the Cup final and playoff finals, and there was so much hope for more in the 19-20 season. But let's be honest, no one could have predicted what was to come next, and it was to be cut short by a global pandemic.
No.
So where were you when the league had sat down and just cancelled the season? You must have thought that this is quite serious now. Where were you when they told you that it was going to be cancelled? What was the mood like in the dressing room, and could you actually believe that this was happening?
No, obviously, we were just in Guildford, all the boys, seeing what was going on in the news and obviously with the pandemic. But I don't think any of us thought it would come to obviously what it's come to. As of where we were, it was actually a Friday. We had just come in. We were preparing for, I think, Cardiff on the Saturday. And there was talks going around, sort of, it's a possibility that there won't be any more hockey for the rest of the season, but no one was sure. So we came in for practice Friday morning, and then within 10 minutes we had been sat down by the Flames organization. They've sort of said, the league's had a meeting today, and they decided obviously not to go ahead with the rest of the season. Everyone was just bummed out, really. As obviously an athlete, you want to compete at the end of the day, and obviously we had worked so hard throughout the whole season. You always want to make something of it. So for it to come to an end the way it did, and it was a shame, really. I think all the boys were pretty bummed out about it, to be honest.
It was something that no one saw coming, and
No, not at all.
from our point of view, we were like, well, what's going on? Where do we sit from here? Because teams were dropping left, right, and center and couldn't play. It was just crazy to see. At this point, with hockey being cancelled, were you ever concerned of how this would affect the growth of like UK hockey and the Elite League? Because it was in such a good place at that point. It was so strong, attracting good players, it was getting good views. I remember going to playoffs and it was absolutely buzzing. What sort of place do you think it's going to be in when we come back in September? Hopefully, if we come back in September.
It's hard to say, really. Obviously, I think the pandemic has not just affected obviously the hockey community, but I think a lot of people in general. But as for hockey, I think the elite league, I like I said, I can't say. I'm not too sure. Hopefully, it comes back the way it was because, as you said, I know it was in a really, really strong place. And
Yeah.
from speaking to some of the boys, it gotten even better over the past sort of 2-3 years. Like I said, I hope it comes back as it was, but
Yeah.
I'm really not too sure, to be honest with you.
I think it will still hold its merit. I think it will hold where it was and its structure. I mean, by talking to other people and talking to other clubs, it's like, yeah, they have a plan in progress for this, and they have money set
Yeah,
aside from the government and stuff like that. So I don't see it being an issue. It's just getting people back in rinks, I think, which is going to be the
exactly,
main thing. As soon as we can put
exactly.
bums on seats and games out there,
Yeah,
I think it will be the
I
best.
think a lot of the teams rely on obviously the fan base to be coming in, and
Yeah, it's the game.
without that,
Yeah.
it can't really go ahead. I don't think.
I mean, we saw a lot of players go overseas. I mean, you mentioned that you went to Sweden yourself just to get some playing time. Have you stayed in contact with like the rest of the team? How does it work? You got a WhatsApp? You doing Zoom calls like the rest of us?
Um, I mean, I've got a lot of the boys. Obviously, we've got a little WhatsApp chat, but
Yeah,
I mean, I've spoke to most of them from Guildford just individually. Um, just sort of talking about their seasons, what they're up to. Obviously, you can see any like if they've signed somewhere or what they're doing. I think a lot of us in the same position, we're literally just trying to play at the end of the day because you want to be continuing next season or whenever it gets back to normal.
yeah,
Um, and you don't want to just take a year out because I don't think that's any good for anyone. So I think a
no,
lot of us are in the same position as to just wanting to play.
no, that's true. I mean, you guys had a terrific October, November, December stretch in which I think you won 16 out of 20 games played. That included like a 7-game winning streak, and in February
Yeah,
you had your first ever win at Belfast. I think it was a 5-4 overtime win.
yeah, it
It's
was.
starting to
Yeah,
feel like the team was clicking just at the right time. And as I kind of felt as a player, you were hitting your stride. I remember a fantastic individual game-winning goal you scored against Nottingham. Um,
yeah,
and it's like every so often a player scores a goal that I think leaves a lasting impression on a lot of coaches in the league. And I'm pretty
yeah.
sure that goal did that to most of them. But how frustrating was it from going from that and being on such a good run and a possible playoff spot in the future to doing absolutely nothing, just sitting around your house?
It was a shock to the system, I'd say. Like I said, you can never prepare for anything like what's happened, and um, for it to happen and to, like you said, to go from straight from playing 2 games, 3 games a week, training every day with all the boys,
Yeah.
to just coming home and doing nothing. Yeah, it was a big shock to the system. And yeah, hopefully you can get back to normal sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and I mean, with no hockey being played for almost a year, how have you stayed in shape? I mean, with no access to rinks and gyms, how has that affected your progress? And how do you think it will affect some guys who haven't been as lucky as you to play in the Spring Cup going into a streaming series where normally they'd have a lead up into this?
Yeah, well, usually off season is what 4 months ish. Um, so obviously not quite like what it's been taking a whole year out. So I know just getting on the ice after the summer, you always feel rusty and shake the rust off. And for guys that obviously haven't been on the ice for a year, I can't even imagine how they feel to just step into the series. As for me, I've been home. I've tried to make do. I have some weights and whatnot. Obviously, gym's being shut to be able to stay conditioned and lift some weights. And obviously, lucky enough to be able to play in the Spring Cup and go to Sweden and just be on the ice because I think you can do as much as you want off the ice, but at the end of the day, you need to get on to
100%
be able to
agree.
improve.
You need that match time, you need match fitness because, you can train at the end of the day, but without the match experience, you
Doesn't
haven't got it.
compare at all.
No,
No.
no. I mean, it's like there's not much time to prepare for this streaming series. I know, like you guys normally would have months before going into a full season. Normally, would wrap up a training camp at a certain speed and intensity to go into a full season pretty ready. So, with the lack of time to prepare, how do you think this is going to affect players not only physically but also mentally.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the players I think going into the series have been playing. But I'm sure the people that haven't, I mean, it'll, it'll be a shock for sure. I think usually during a season you have exhibition games, you have a 2 week training camp where you're on the ice every day, and that's definitely gives you enough time to shake the rust off. But going straight into it without doing any of that, I mean, they got to try to stay positive. I think you can't expect too much of yourself after you've been off the ice for that long.
I think
So I think you just got to stick with it.
the games will improve as time goes on. That's no doubt. I mean, it's going to take a while for guys to click, gel, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm interested to see what is going to happen. I mean, looking ahead to this series, I mean, you got drafted by Aaron Fox's Sheffield Steelers, where they're looking quite strong. And personally, I love the draft night, and I felt the league done such a great job with that. I mean, were you at home watching it? I mean, how did you feel when you got picked?
Yeah, no, I was actually. I think speaking to most people, they all tuned in. I wasn't sure what to expect, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a little bit nerve wracking. Obviously, you never know if you're going to get picked. You don't know what sort of how it's going to work. And but no, I was just excited to be able to get the opportunity to play in it. Really.
Yeah, would you like to see something like that maybe at the beginning of each season with maybe junior players coming through just to mix it up?
I think it could be a good idea, to be honest, because I know it created a lot of buzz around the hockey community.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of people enjoyed it.
Huge amount of excitement around it. I know fans engaged with it quite a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it gave something that I think the league has never had before, because, you know, hockey's not like where you've got promotion or relegation, so you don't get that kind of battle or excitement.
Yeah.
Overseas, you know, NHL has drafts, so you know that's a big exciting thing.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Here we don't have that because we don't have the amount of people coming through systems. But I feel like something like this with the better junior players, I feel is a really good opportunity maybe to have that bit of excitement, but also maybe create a bit of a pathway for them.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's a good way to sort of, for coaching the leagues and just people in the league in general, to sort of keep an eye out on talent coming through and give them an opportunity for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you caught the eye of Aaron Fox after a great season. You recorded the most assists and points by an under-23 British player. I think you've really stood out and held your own as a Brit in this league. I mean, you play with a ton of pace, and I think you've got some real offensive ability. It's hard to believe sometimes you are the age you are when you're out on that ice. Are you looking forward to show just what you can do in this series, and also maybe learning off more experienced players and different coaches?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it'll be nice to sort of experience. Obviously, I've only been in Guildford, being in the Elite League, but to go to another team, see how it works in other teams, and just be given the opportunity to play. Really, obviously, I know there's a lot of eyes sort of on the series. A lot of people will be watching. But I'm just gonna go out there and just sort of enjoy it while I can, and absorb everything that's going on. Really.
Yeah, I mean, hockey relies a lot on team chemistry, bonding, and that can take a long time for a team to gel. I mean, you've got to know where each other is on the ice. What kind of hockey and level of play do you expect when we start playing again in a few weeks?
I mean, I think it's going to be a fast pace off the start. Really. I think a lot of people will be excited to get going and something to prove. And I'm expecting a fast paced game for sure.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. I want to see, I think some of them are going to hit the ground running. I really do. Because, like you say, some of them have been playing in Europe and they've been coming back. So they're already game fit.
Exactly. Yeah.
A few of them haven't, so they might have to play catch up. But I'm sure, you know, you'll have a few sessions before you go out.
Yeah.
So, that'd be all good. You took part in the Spring Cup for Bracknell just to gain some valuable ice time when there was no Elite League. How did you find this experience of kind of being in a bubble and with the testing before games and playing with no fans? I mean, what was that like?
Playing with no fans is a big sort of change up. You're used to sort of the noise just in the background and the atmosphere, and it creates a different sort of feeling when you're playing.
I mean,
obviously it's a
especially, I
big,
mean, if you think about this, you'll be going to Nottingham, and
yeah,
that's a big arena. And I mean,
mm,
my first experience with going to Nottingham was the playoffs when you guys were there,
yeah,
and it was
yeah,
just absolutely, the atmosphere was huge. It was buzzing,
yeah, it
and
was, yeah,
it was great. It was a
yeah,
great atmosphere, and I
yeah,
thought it was fantastic. And I remember going in there the morning when the teams were just warming up, you guys were getting dressed, and it was completely empty. I took a time just to have a look around and all that kind of stuff. The ice was being done. I thought, oh, this is really nice, but never in my wildest dreams, because I think, what's it like to play hockey with no people in there?
yeah,
Because it will
no.
be very empty.
Yeah, it's a big arena, so I think you'll definitely be able to tell as well.
Yeah, I know they're
Um,
putting like cardboard cutouts of peoples and fans in there,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's not the same of like when you score a goal, you can celebrate and there's people
right,
cheering,
yeah,
or
yeah,
if you're down, and you need to get back up and your team, the fans are spurring you on.
yeah,
Because sometimes they do make all the difference.
yeah, for sure. I think if you're, especially playing at home, if you're down, you need that a little bit of a boost. The fans can help with that for sure. And not having that, I think, yeah, it's going to be a big change up.
Yeah, and the COVID testing and things like that. What was that like to do? Was that hard every week?
Well, it's not the nicest thing to do.
No, I can
Um,
imagine.
Doing it every week. I mean, you get used to it, but
Yeah,
yeah, at the start it was a little bit strange. But no,
I bet you never
I've got
thought you'd
used
have
to
to
it.
do that in your career, did you?
Oh, never, never.
No, no. I mean, looking at all the teams that are involved, which clubs are you looking forward to playing against the most? And which player do you think is coming into this series looking pretty good and probably going to do some damage?
I mean, I'm just looking forward to playing against all the teams. To be honest with you, just all the games in general. I'm sure they'll all be a good 11. They'll all be sort of similar. And obviously, playing for Sheffield, I know there's that Sheffield Nottingham rivalry that I've
That's always
never really
huge. It's gone back
experienced.
years. I mean, I remember watching that from back in the day. It's always
Yeah,
been, they're stones throw away. Of course, now
mm,
you have Griff on the other side, so that'd be
yeah,
quite interesting to see. But yeah,
yeah,
playing in a rivalry like that would just be yeah. I think it's like being in Guildford. The trouble is we haven't really got that rivalry. We used to have it like with Slough when we played
yeah,
that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
not
yeah.
having anyone in the elite league that's close enough to us, there's not really a good rivalry. But yeah, you're certainly going to find that out, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard a lot. It's a pretty big deal, so it'd be
Yeah,
nice to sort
massive.
of play in that.
Okay, we're going to move over to some questions that got sent in. If
Yeah.
you had to pick one Flames player to be on a lockdown with, who would you pick?
Oh, that's a tough one actually. Um, I'm gonna say Cruz Reddick or Brett Ferguson, just because I've been over there as many a times for dinner. They've made me some meals, and I can say that they're both great cooks. So
Nice.
that'd be nice for sure.
Ah, cool. And what Netflix series did you binge, or are you currently binging at the moment?
Um, I'm actually not. I'm not really binging to be honest with you. I'm not a big
Are you?
binger. I watch movies now and then, but more of I game a bit, so I'm more doing
Yeah, what
that
have you
than
been
I am
gaming on?
watching it. Just Warzone. I think
Ah,
a lot of people are sort of doing the same
yeah, I
thing
think
in that. Is
everyone's kind of doing that right now.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So I've more been doing that to be honest with you.
yeah, I don't blame you. It's kind of over this pandemic, I think everyone's been on Twitch these days.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
that's the place to be.
It's also good because you get to like a lot of the boys that I play with in Guildford, just people I know in general, just to get on with them and just speak to them because obviously you can't really
Yeah.
see anyone or anything. So
Have you been
that's
gaming
definitely
much over the
nice.
pandemic then? Is that your thing?
What's that? Sorry.
Do you game a lot during the season and stuff like that?
No, not so much during the season. I mean, you play so much hockey and
Yeah.
stuff and games, and I think now with not so busy schedule, um, it frees up some time for that sort of stuff.
Hmm. Okay, perfect. Well, Josh, thanks a lot for joining us today. It's been
Oh,
absolutely a
absolutely,
pleasure
pleasure.
to chat to you. Wish you all the best of luck in this streaming series. We'll be following it very, very closely, and we'll
Yeah,
be chatting to you afterwards, no doubt.
yeah, awesome.
All
Thank
right,
you
mate.
very much.